The seabed around our rugged coastline is littered with the wrecks of ships sunk by the weather, wars or even human error. I've been to meet the man whose life's passion is hunting for lost wrecks.
It's deep, it's dark, it's highly technical, and it's all about discovery. Welcome to the underwater world of diving on uncharted wrecks.
This is, for us, the highlight of diving, to discover a shipwreck that's never been seen, never been dived before.
For years, Rod MacDonald was a solicitor, but now wreck diving and writing about it is his full-time profession. With a dedicated team of fellow enthusiasts, he loves to dive on uncharted wrecks.
Rod's done a lot of the homework in finding these wrecks and quite often diving them for the first time. The wrecks that we're diving off of Stonehaven, they've either rarely been dived or only been dived once or twice.
It's quite scary for a start because you've got nothing above, you've got nothing below, and once you're past maybe 50 metres, generally it's pitch black. And then out of the gloom comes this wreck and you're not quite sure what it's going to look like, you're maybe not quite sure where you're going to be. So it's quite disconcerting but extremely exciting.
The plan was for the guys to dive on a wreck around 5 miles offshore, but the weather conditions today mean we can't do it. Far too wild. So we're going to do a training dive much closer to shore.
Many of the wrecks lie at great depths. The team are highly skilled divers who mainly dive with systems called rebreathers.
I started rebreather diving about 2005, and I still consider myself a novice at it. And you learn stuff every time you dive. It's amazing.
There are around 20,000 known wrecks around Scotland's coast alone, but there's no way of knowing how many uncharted wrecks there are. It's vital the guys regularly test their systems on dives like this. While the guys descend, I catch up with Cox Paul Haynes.
Now you've got the short straw, you're stuck in the boat with me, but you dive as well. What is the attraction of diving like this, would you say?
It's the discovery of something new, to resolve a mystery, historical mystery like the discovery of a new wreck, to touch down on a piece of history that something that hasn't seen for maybe 60, 70, 80 years, and perhaps eventually to involve the families who still don't know where perhaps their grandfather, great-grandfather actually perished.
Today's descent is just a training dive to test the kit, but Rod has discovered ships that have been lost for decades. Earlier, back at base, Rod had shown me footage the team had taken during a dive to survey what was thought to be a sunken U-boat.
This is the first ever time this wreck had been dived. So, a voyage of discovery, going down into the darkness, down and down for 200 feet, and then landing on the seabed, looking up and seeing the overhanging hull of a steamship and thinking, wait a minute, this isn't a U-boat. But nevertheless, there's not meant to be a steamship of this size around here that we don't know about. So suddenly the game's changed. We're thinking, well, what is this? Let's go and find out.
So a fairly euphoric moment, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is our first clue coming up here to what it is. I was looking at this thinking, what on earth is it? And then I realised it's bags of cement set hard. The whole hold is just chock-out with bags of cement.
After painstaking research based on the ship's size, position and cargo, Rod found out the ship was the SS Greenon. The vessel had gone missing, steaming towards Invergordon from London. The last time she was seen was passing Montrose in 1941.
She was actually built in Aberdeen, this ship, and the crew are very local. There are crewmen from Peterhead and from Buckie. There was a crew of 12 and 2 defensive gunners, and they all died.
When you find a virgin wreck like this, it must be absolutely brilliant as a diver, but are you constantly aware of the human story behind the wreck?
Absolutely. I find that with each wreck I dive, the human story becomes more relevant the longer time goes on.
The team hunts for far more than just hunks of rusting metal. They seek out the truth of a ship's demise, the end of a once proud vessel where sailors lived, worked, and died. Today, no new discoveries, but with all that ocean out there, the search continues.
Let me tell you, it was a wee bit fresh out there on that boat. And that almost brings us to the end of another programme. Here's what's coming up next time on Landward.